Number 2 kamsan the VOA ari launching khang ge tanang ge boyin tanang ge no po tang pomlan jiwa yo pi tarti datin khap khon la tanya che sa yin nga tanang ge po ke lim cha so chong a chirang che yin yanong shongi tarta mizi rigni pesho tang ne zamla khyon yong se ne chil lakpa pe gi tang gadal hong ji so ji talim she thab sarwa khale lok pe niwa da ba shi pesho tong ge yo pe kola nyan tho sarwa shi thondu Ari Microsoft datin zole khangi sawi ninka shimjik chambe chida jiwi nangla amigbe chigla shethap sarwa shar esha ninka janche khachi dambe shethap sarwa peshimba she nyando sawa chiktonso dinant gyanaki mizi rigni pesho tane mina katak janchu nyandang par anetsil daje jema zene minamki ngezin chin ewa mechoba zo shimba pena thawn sinzin ki edi kaps mizi rigni ki dachik be samge rigpe te Mimang go tum sijba mimang lang go kor tawa sinzi eme chiki eme shan la kyonjo jeba taw zete mimang gna lang gadal hawa yang nihung ge detan boxog jamcho la chang song she minam control hoi chede mizi rigni kin rapper chema zewa ari ngadi khanta ki na menkur chglam la no kyun chonga ta Hawaii is mekyon shorwa la sope kaps gyabjung se Amerika ge sijong yo bare che tartigna Amerika ge shong la yeche me padang alopam kesin jik yo bas che dingdu ki mizi rigni pecho tane zamna kyun yon la yanaki shikin tebtabla yanaki mizi rigni leggir che shimbas kondu di tha Amerika ge titip katakchan times yinetsil pete den zamni chi yongi donglin chi gewi che te dingdu ki datin netsul ki maktab sarwa shik chigje yinsil kondu Poke lagnya chapchapa pama cheptan tamba ti shirt jog yo pe lagnya sa te chida shiwi na la yanak tang poke lagnya khang khot zungbu shu shimbare lagnya sa la tangkeng ge chele pa tang mum mambo soji shejo tang nyongchur ti yo pa ya tang ye te poke lagnya chachik chimbo tata yi shogdik chendu Poik lagnya chachik chimbo tata yi chantek sa lagnya sa tang dewi sumi ya tang ye yin retok kondu di nang te pe na kharpa kama jansan sirwa shiki Chua tang chesok ko drobdon she dang sa shiwa shiki sherlock pe lamne datara langdo che gomba tashi shiwa shiki chone tang galde shiwa yang tongse gel shiwa shiki chatham tang kancho chui gandi zep del hoi sa she sorti oba thongdu yang jaik de khono shiwa shiki ke ma zhong ying hon den jikten la ngom char chiwi shikin tepe chamchin de jig che dang yang khawi shiwa shiki sa yang la jibi gyabzik se nga chikyang rangni thongyong she sorti du demen tatong longnyan de tawe jima yo sitam dang pama chepten ki che thajik lekche tawe yang tindu yang phun jingme chenle ki apa talo nang ne boja karyo kang she dang she la sopin dio sumik dang shejo nyongchur sa ya ta yala talak che tupkundu Number 2 film tbt.com shiwal de la sone tata chantak se sona digla yang shinming de de tata chantak se yang rotub yang tata tatsik se lognya shejo de pukin hang pa kangshin logki lognya sale pama tan jawa shi ti de lognya sala tebi ji pami mingdang tang samlo thonjong anyang tup thonjong lognya ti nang de gelhong de chachim na kherchang ki gombe zingnya te pami zingnya tar kherchang tang chu kangla yang menjik be sangi khenro shik tang ja ang Ni tokpe sala nambi jimba tondi ngi yang kira nam tang ge tuanki chuki pama chanshong she tindu Deme yang pomme khashi ki longnya khant sala tar songi par so jar yo pinang de poki sacha shik de longnya khant nyong chun san den da ta dik shi yo ba thongjin dulan di thola longnya ndrte charji ngi chitawi longnya shik la ri gi she dam she dang yang jamba long la kr yo ji yang ya ji yo ba gyap kyor yo jitan she tawla so pi logti poik mang bo shi yang thongjin du Gari ki lamne poki lorji chapa shiwi leshin di kola tanang go poki chilo ni toni sagni lola ngoto shu simbayin tarta poki lorji gari nambe zeyo pe li ni dembe ji simba ta ramba megiwe thone ta thapkundu kyoyina ya gari ki lamne lorji chape leshin di nangla the langdub yongala nyamshik na thapkundu armchairacademics.com shiwi lhupsu nyantin zotin khandi tatsi se pebayina Kuchung gri kilamne lorji chape dechan de thontukundu dinang gri kilamne poki lorji chapa shiwi lejis chi yongda tata kacho ze char samba datak lorji mhawa ta chele mana la sokpa si zogo yoba so rere ta gindu taga nangshi maungba ta ton soji lhag yoba kang yoba ta ze samba ga lagnya la ta sa thakpar ta tarta manje lorji gri nyanchin de porka sakje nang te girwa la mangir de jimba sok thongindu namba zo indigogo shiwi yiki marpundi datang de namba yena mangir dewe lejis sarshin di thagnante kyorangi poki lorjin green de lengde yong ala shande manyo chirig tablam ramang gtone to tupkundu Kantar yang datsing di nane khusu chitsak talam khala yang drotop kundu peshana YouTube gilam ta sone tata ze charwi karma nishil gre chanki li ni la sanzig nang top kundu
with Ligmin Shah, the king of Shangshung. As was common practice, in return for a political alliance, Tsempo offered his sister, the Princess Semakar, in marriage to Ligmin Shah, but all was not as it seemed.
Gri ki lamne poki lorji chapa shiwi legend jirti chane li gyo patang chanang poki li gyo ping gri lognan di leji sumdik patang ganz Dr. Alexander Smith loglan diwa shune gri ki lamne poki lorji chapa legend di kola ngoto nang shuyu.
The Animated History of Tibet is a 9-episode, fully animated historical documentary series written, directed, and animated by historians and artists passionate about Tibetan history and culture. The series covers the entire history of Tibet from the earliest instances of writing on the Tibetan plateau through the 20th century and into the present day. My name is Dr. Alexander K. Smith. I'm the writer and director of the project, and together with our partners at Tibet House US, I'm one of the series' co-producers. We've already released the first 2 episodes, which cover the rise of the Tibetan Empire and the empire's golden age during the reigns of Songtsen Gampo and Trisong Detsen, respectively. And we're currently producing episodes 3 and 4, which follow the collapse of the Tibetan Empire and the so-called Sichedu Chepa, or the period of fragmentation and the ensuing renaissance of Buddhist culture. Later episodes focus on topics like the Pagmadrupa dynasty, the foundation of the Ganden Podrong, and the life of incredible figures like Polene Sonam Topgye, as well as, of course, the 20th century, where we focus on the invasion of Tibet and the events of 1949 to 1959, and the emergence and growth of the modern Tibetan diaspora, hopefully capturing and communicating some of the richness of Tibetan history along the way. Now, the production has faced some difficulties. As a small independent studio, there would always be challenges in producing something with this kind of historical scope. But one of our greatest difficulties was actually in selecting an art style that conveys the authority of an extensive, well-researched history while also working for both Western and Tibetan audiences. And this made our pre-production longer than anticipated, which includes the creation of our maps. These are as historically accurate as possible, but also stylized to reflect an animation style that draws from both traditional Tibetan art and modern Western anime-inspired artwork. But our studio is now very confident in its style, and we work closely with Tibetan cultural consultants who try to ensure that our artwork is as accurate and culturally faithful as possible. That's something that's very important to us, that we try to get right.
Ya Dr. Alexander Smith tarta datan tiram dala Greek lamne poki lorgi chape lesson de kal chimbu choton ta lorgi demba sheti lorgi longje la gorjob sheji soki kola mixa pometholan rejon da chingnason.
Why is the animated history of Tibet important? First and foremost, the series is written in collaboration with both Western and Tibetan historians and includes interviews with specialists in Tibetan history from universities across Europe and the United States. In combining that with animation, our goal is to provide a rigorous and fun approach to learning about Tibetan history and the role that Tibet and Tibetan Buddhism have played in shaping the history of Asia and the history of the world. There are also very few accurate, accessible, and entertaining resources for teaching Tibetan history, and many of the resources that exist are also only available in English, which is one of the reasons that we're currently running a crowdfunding campaign to finance the translation and re-release of each episode fully narrated by native-speaking voice actors in Central Tibetan and Mandarin language versions to reach as wide an audience as possible and provide a multilingual resource that we can use to fight disinformation and spread accurate information about Tibet's past.
Tanda Tanang Boyons Nyando Shu Sambayan, let him last answer our garden chishu yin.